Men view relationships wrong and they do them wrong, which is ultimately why they fail at them. Now, listen, this might sound harsh, but hear me out. Okay, just hear me out for a couple of minutes. Most men, when they approach women, they usually are not themselves. Not only that, they usually are not themselves when they are in a relationship. They put on a persona, a character. They usually kind of become a little bit more neutral with their opinions and thoughts. And a lot of times they also become a yes man. Why? Because their approach is to basically kind of give the woman consistent dopamine and validation. And dude, that is a recipe for disaster. Not because you should never be giving your woman dopamine or validation and etc. Well, that becomes your main way of showing how you bond and quote unquote love her. You understand? And what I'm about to say kind of applies for both genders, but you need your woman to fall in love with your character, with who you are. That is true love. When a man and a woman come together and they fall in love with each other's characters, their true selves, that's when the true love gets formed. Because you see, you know, most of the time, what women mainly fall in love with is how you make them feel. Now, of course, dude, if you love your woman, you want to make her feel great. And the same vice versa. If you're a woman, you should try to make your man feel great. You should be both giving 120%. Okay. Or kind of how they say, 60-40, but you're both giving 60. But here's the thing, most of you silence your character, and most of you focus on just making her feel good and valid. And that can only last so long because the moment you disagree with something, or the moment you say no, or put your foot down, or maybe don't have the funds to supply a certain lifestyle, that's when the massive cracks start showing. It is the reality. It is the reality. And look, I'm sorry to tell you, but this is ultimately your fault because you created this environment. See, like, this is the moment of what it's like to be a man. Okay. If you create an environment where she consistently understands that you are trying to always make her feel valid, always to make her feel good, yada, 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 and you don't show your character, then she understands that is the dynamic. Okay. She falls in love with mainly the dynamic. Yes, she could still have some feelings for you, but it won't be ever nowhere near as strong as if, she fell in love with your character. And see, that's the thing. Some of you try to start showing your character in the future, and that's when things just kind of go 180, completely sour, completely wrong. Because you start speaking, your truth, you start expressing your emotions, and all of a sudden, things go super, super sour. You know, an example, guys, is what's that guy's name? Piers Morgan, right? He gets some type of injury. There's issues for 2 weeks, and it's like the wife is already, being like, oh, this is too much for me. What a garbage woman. What a garbage woman. But the truth is, Piers Morgan did that to himself. He created this type of environment where he allowed certain things, where he never put his foot down, where he fueled, making sure the woman feels always good and never keeping it real. Okay. Do not build this type of environment. Okay. There are women out there, and it doesn't even matter that there are multiple women because all that matters is that, you find your one at the end of the day. That is the only thing that matters. Right. But there are women out there that will genuinely like you for you. You understand? Well, you have to be you. You cannot be scared. It doesn't matter if you're weird. It doesn't matter if you're controversial. It doesn't matter if you're a wild card. It doesn't matter if you're freaky. It doesn't matter if you're a nerd, a gamer. Dude, it does not matter what you are. Okay. You need to put stock and confidence in your character, in who you truly are, because that won't really change. The core of you won't really change. And that is what's supposed to carry you for the rest of your life. Everything else is just kind of the sprinkle on top, the cherry on top. But you will always be you. Now, of course, you can better yourself. Maybe you can lose weight. Maybe you'll find new hobbies, maybe new passions. Maybe you will articulate yourself better in the future. That's all fine. But you're still going to be you mainly, right? You're still going to be you. Just because you got rid of a couple of bad habits, that doesn't mean you still won't be that funny guy. Maybe you won't be, the nerd. Who knows? I don't know who's listening to this, but the point is, you need to invest in your character, dude. All right, and you need to show your character. Who cares if you get rejected? Who cares if some women, don't want that? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it matters just about the one. And you have to realize once you find that one, you hold on to it, dude. Because true love, I believe true love is only between you finding that one person. Okay. And this is the kind of the other part is the way you guys view women sometimes and what you value is so backwards. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to start with the controversial one, body count. Yes, I do believe body count does have some value. Personally, for me, way less than your average guy. However, dude, I want to give you two scenarios. And I want you to answer which one is a bigger threat. Would you rather see, for example, or know your woman hooked up with seven guys, no attachment, or you are the second guy that enters her life, but her first love was her high school sweetheart that she dated and was with for 10 years? Now, which one do you think is more dangerous? Which one do you think would be a better scenario for you? Now, here's the thing. Some guys still might say, well, seven men is too much, and that's fine. But the reality is, guys, you value the things that many people just don't talk about. Now, personally, for me, I would rather have my woman be with a couple more men than ever deal with that high school sweetheart scenario. Because let me tell you guys, okay, those deep emotional connections are much worse than even just hooking up. Now, I understand. I gave you a specific scenario. And the reality is, a lot of people have their own unique scenarios, their life experiences, where they came from, yada, yada, yada. But my point is, right, the things you guys sometimes value are really not that as important as you think. And some of you guys undervalue very important things. For example, if she's willing to show up for you, even at your worst version, you have to realize that is literally like finding a needle in a haystack. If she loves you for you, the real you, not the suppressed you, not the censored you, not the you that, nerfs themselves and becomes some neutral bunny that's a yes man and that has to keep feeding, this woman's feelings and, constant validation. If she truly shows up and loves you for your character, for your heart, for your soul, for your mind, for your body, through the rough times, through the good times, then you won, dude. And most men undervalue that. Also, our values could be different. Some guys, maybe they're fine with doing it once a week. Some of us, dude, we want it once a day. If you find a woman that matches your energy in that is a winner, dude. You understand? People don't value sexual compatibility. And that's also something that becomes a problem when you become kind of a yes man and you have her invest in how you make her feel instead of her investing in your character. That's how you end up in the relationships that do it maybe once a month, once every 3 months. Okay. That's not love. That is not love. Okay. That is not love. And that's what I'm talking about. A lot of you guys value things the wrong way. A lot of you guys operate when it comes to talking to women and building a relationship with women the wrong way. Okay. Like I said, everyone's got their own unique scenario, their own unique circumstances. You still have, some things you value less and more. It's not always going to match with everyone. But I'm telling you guys do things a lot of things that are backwards. And yeah, man, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's your life. You don't have to take this advice. For me, I value someone that I can fully trust. Right? Some of you guys, you value trust, but you're okay with someone micro cheating or being suspicious or doing things that kind of might leave a question mark. For me, I'm never tolerating that. There are certain things I am never tolerating, dude. You have to realize women will literally kill for you if they love you. They will literally lie to the government. Dude, look around the different types of relationships women have been in historically. Okay. Yes, there are some bad ones and degenerate ones, but there are also some ones where a woman will be invested in that man so heavy, she would never sell him out, never go with someone that's quote unquote, taller, richer, bigger, has more status. She will she will be corrupted with him. She will kill for him. She will lie for him. She will literally be his ride or die. You understand this, right? So the ability for us to reach that is possible, but it's only possible when you start approaching relationships the right way and when you start to value the proper things. Okay. And yeah, that is ultimately it. Of course, like I said, people can have their different opinions, people can disagree, but I have been personally the most free when I have been myself. I felt the most comfortable when I am myself. And let me tell you something, right? I am trying to be a little bit more well spoken right now, trying to be a little bit more serious right now, but I ain't always this serious. I ain't always this nice. I really am not. Like, I'm a mix of a couple of things. And let me tell you, I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I ultimately don't give a shit. All right. And that's the truth. And that is the truth. And I'll tell you something. My experience with women, right, basically has confirmed that the things I have said are true. When you are neutral and you're too nice, maybe because you're a little bit younger, maybe you don't have the experience, yada, 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 you will suffer. You won't be able to build anything real. And she will value how you make her feel over who you are. My life has changed the moment I start to be myself and just simply not care, right? Not care. And sometimes I'm telling you guys, I'm very mean and brutal with these women sometimes. I promise you, like, I will treat her like a bro. And you know how guys are sometimes with the way they talk. Right? But I don't care. I don't care because I need someone for me, not for what I can provide. You understand? And you need to have that same mentality. You do. You need to aim and shoot for the stars, dude. Okay? You need to aim and shoot for the stars. You have one life. One life. You are your own unique character. So double down on your character, put yourself out there, and who cares? Who cares if even if 99 women reject you or don't like you or you're not too compatible or you're decently compatible, but there's a few differences. Who cares? Because when you hit that one, that 100th one that you perfectly match like a puzzle piece, she matches your energy. Maybe you guys like to bully each other. Maybe that's your love language. Maybe you're super physical. Maybe you're not. Maybe you want to do the deed every day. Maybe you don't. I don't know you. Whatever it is, when you find your puzzle piece, you will have a type of relationship most people on earth would kill for, would die for, would trade for. So I'm telling you the secret right now. Listen, I love you guys so much. Like I said, you can take my word, not take my word. Some of you are going to be a little bit younger. Some of you are going to be a little bit more reserved. Some of you, you're still out there. You're still lost. And that's okay. But yeah, I love you guys so much. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.